Germaine Franco, composer for Encanto. You're the first female composer of a Disney animated feature, which is long overdue, really. So when were you first made aware of this fact, and what was your reaction?
Well, I learned about it the end of last summer that I was being considered. And then last fall, I started working on the project. And my reaction was very much joyous. I love the idea of working with Byron and Jared, and of course, Lin-Manuel. I mean, having that opportunity to collaborate was amazing. And I have to thank Tom McDougall, who is the head of Disney Music, for believing in me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you came on board after Lin had already composed or written most of the songs for the movie. So what was that process like? Because it's more like you're coming on and you have to transition, I guess, from the score to the songs and make it look seamless.
Yes. So most of the songs were written and still being, buried and edited or changed lyrics, but all of them were written. So my first work was to explore his songs and just figure out, okay, what kind of language is Lin using for the film? And then I started writing away from everything and just making suites and making demos and just ideas away from picture. But I knew that I had to work within the structure of the songs where they were the picture as a whole. So one of my task was to do intros into the songs and make sure that the score would go seamlessly out of the songs. So that was one thing I worked on. But also I worked on themes that would kind of have the same language and the same feel, so that it didn't feel like, oh, score starts here and now here's another song. So we were in the same world.
Mm-hmm. And I believe the filmmakers were able to go to Colombia pre-COVID, but you weren't able to. So what kind of research into Colombia did you do?
Well, yes, unfortunately, I was not able to go because I really wanted to. It was difficult because I was able to go to Mexico for Coco. So I wanted to jump on a plane, but it wasn't very pragmatic. So I started listening to some, music from the early, 1800s all the way to current pop, and just had so many different videos and scores and songs, and this huge research that I did. I kept track of it, and then the things that moved me I would listen over and over. And what I've found was that we have so much in common. A lot of the Latin American countries, we have a lot of similar rhythms, but they're very different in a different way. For example, I'm very familiar with cumbia from Mexico, but it originated in Colombia. So because of the Spanish influence, the indigenous, and then the slaves that were brought over, there's this incredible, woven tapestry of sound, but it's different from the Afro-Mexican music, is different from the Afro-Colombian. And so I really enjoyed learning about as many new styles as possible. And also I reached out to my friends who are Colombian. There's a friend named Justo Almario, who's a fantastic sax player, and also other musicians and that live here. And I also bought a bunch of instruments. I had a marimba made in Colombia. It's called a marimba de chonta. It's a special marimba that you can't get anywhere else. It's made out of a palm tree. And so I had it built and shipped to me, and also got a lot of string instruments like bandolas and tiples. And I actually bought a Colombian harp. And so I was just like, well, I can't go there. Let me bring all the instruments to me to get deeper into the sound of it.
Mm-hmm. Now you have like your whole like Colombian band. You can
Yes, I do.
Band. Like magical realism is like such a huge part of the film, and I love it because it's just understood as like it's like a normal thing in the movie, like the casita and everything, and everyone has
Yes.
gifts. But the music is not this like fantastical sound. It's more grounded. So can you talk about your approach to writing that soundscape?
Yes. Okay. So for those, I know you know what magical realism is. There's some people that may not, but it's a type of literature all found throughout Latin America and other countries, but there's really no difference between one world and the other, kind of a supernatural or spiritual world. So things that are alive, inanimate objects like the house are alive. So what I did was I imagined my own interpretation of it. And I started collecting and making textures out of different instruments, like the string instrument, the bandola and the tiple. Was doing these tremolos and recording them and putting all kinds of reverb and sounds on them. And then also I used voice as well, because I feel like voice is a connection to the other world. And so I was singing a lot on my demos, and then I knew that I would, have a whole choir. So I wanted to use just textures to begin, and then I got into the melodics and the harmony of it. And Byron and Jared were very specific. They wanted a theme that felt heartfelt but not sweet, but also nostalgic. And so at the beginning, you hear the beginnings of the magical realism, and when you see the house appear and from the mountains, it's full on orchestra. So it all started with smaller, like experimentation with textures and motifs and harmony, but then it became this huge theme that was, orchestrated. And you hear it at the very beginning, and then you hear it at the very end when she gets her doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout that, we call it the Encanto theme.
Yeah. We have to talk about Bruno and Bruno's
Yes.
Tower. It's one of my favorite cues in the film. When
really?
Mirabel gets to Bruno's Tower and then she discovers everything. Can you talk a little bit about composing those pieces?
Okay, that was really fun. Bruno was always this enigma, and how we treated him, the very first time they say his name before you hear the song, there's a little weird flute, there's some odd little woodwinds and stuff. So there were little hints, motifs going in. And then as she's walking, sneaking around, she opens that door and she goes into the very first time she goes into the tower. I changed harmonic and tonal, I did a shift because she was in like an altered reality. And I wanted that to feel very earthy. And so you can hear my beautiful friend, Pedro Eustache, doing these great flutes. And then I have like hanging on my wall behind me, my tarahumara drum. I have, ancestry of Mexican indigenous heritage. And so I really wanted that feeling of the connection to the earth, because there's so many indigenous people still living in Colombia. And I wanted to honor that, as the natural world there is supposedly, I haven't been there, but the videos are stunning. And so I wanted his world to feel like a place that no one ever had experienced before, and big, huge. So then as she goes in and she starts hearing things, and she opens that big door, and then it slams and it ramps up. And then as she's digging through this sand and finding little pieces, you're starting to hear the melodic motif of the Encanto theme, but not in its full, force. It's just those little pieces of the puzzle that she's discovering.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally it goes crazy. I have a huge orchestra and she gets thrown out. And of course she doesn't.
A great sequence, great music. We can talk about Bruno now. So this is good.
Yes.
Well, Germaine, it was great speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you back in a little bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.